Let me be clear from the start. There's no magic trick, no pickup line, no manipulative tactic that will guarantee a woman sleeps with you the same day. But there is something real, something grounded in science and psychology that most men completely overlook. And once you understand it, everything changes. Here's the truth. Women aren't just turned on by what they see, they respond to how they feel around you. It's not about your money, your abs, or your height. It's about emotional safety, presence, and polarity. Let's talk about something that many men overlook when it comes to intimacy, something that determines whether a woman will ever feel close to you, let alone sleep with you the same day. That something is emotional safety. When we talk about physical attraction or sexual chemistry, most people focus on the surface, appearance, confidence, maybe even flirting techniques. But for women, the gateway to physical intimacy is almost always through emotional trust. This isn't just psychology, this is biology. The female nervous system is wired to prioritize safety. This goes back thousands of years to human evolution, when survival was directly tied to how safe a woman felt around a man. If she was with someone who made her feel unsafe physically, emotionally, or socially, it could threaten her life or her community standing. While we don't live in those exact conditions anymore, the nervous system hasn't evolved as quickly as society. Her body still responds to subtle signals of safety or danger, even if she's not consciously aware of it. So, what does that mean for you? If she feels even the slightest bit judged, rushed, or manipulated, her body will activate the sympathetic nervous system, also known as the fight or flight response. Her heart rate increases, her muscles tense, and her ability to relax, especially in an intimate setting, disappears. You can be the most attractive man in the room, but if her body doesn't feel safe, she will not feel desire. On the other hand, if you create an environment where she feels accepted, respected, and free to be herself without pressure, her nervous system shifts into the parasympathetic state, also known as the rest and digest system. This is the state where arousal can actually begin. Her body softens, her breathing slows, she feels emotionally open, and physical attraction becomes possible, sometimes very quickly. That's why the fastest way to build intimacy isn't through showing off or trying to be someone you're not. It's through presence, listening, slowing down, showing that you're interested in who she is, not just what you can get from her. That's what creates emotional safety. And this isn't about being a nice guy or passive. In fact, a strong masculine presence is part of what makes a woman feel safe. But it's not strength through dominance or ego. It's strength through emotional maturity. It's your ability to stay grounded, calm, and non-reactive. When you don't push, when you're not constantly trying to escalate, when you can handle silence, emotion, or even her hesitation without getting frustrated, that's when she begins to trust you. There's a common misconception that women take a long time to decide if they want to be intimate. But the truth is, many women decide very quickly, but only if they feel safe. You've probably seen it happen. Someone meets a woman, and within hours, they're completely drawn to each other. What you didn't see was the emotional environment that man created. He probably wasn't in a rush. He made her feel seen. He didn't judge her. He allowed her to feel safe enough to connect physically and emotionally without fear of being used, judged, or abandoned. Creating that kind of environment requires subtle emotional skills, things like eye contact, relaxed body language, listening without interrupting, and speaking in a calm tone. These are all nonverbal cues that tell her subconscious, I can relax here. And when her body relaxes, her desire has a chance to emerge. Here's another thing most men miss. Arousal for women is contextual. It's not just about physical touch. It's about the emotional and psychological context. If she feels you're only talking to her for sex, she will feel objectified. But if she feels you're genuinely curious, if she senses that you actually enjoy being around her, regardless of the outcome, that's what opens the door to intimacy. This also explains why sometimes physical attraction builds more quickly when the emotional environment is right. Even a woman who wasn't initially planning on being intimate might change her mind if she feels fully accepted and understood. Not because she's being manipulated, but because her body is finally telling her, I feel safe here. Safety isn't about trying to be perfect. It's about being consistent, honest, and grounded. It's about not overreacting when she says something you don't like. It's about being able to handle tension without needing to control the outcome. Ironically, the more you try to get intimacy, the less likely you are to receive it. But when you remove the pressure and focus on connection, on simply being present with her, the desire can build naturally. So, if your goal is to deepen intimacy, whether that's today, tomorrow, or in the long run, start by asking yourself, does she feel emotionally safe around me? Because if she doesn't, nothing else matters. But if she does, if her nervous system starts to relax, if she feels emotionally held, even in silence, that's when intimacy can unfold, sometimes even on the very first day. And it's not a trick, it's not manipulation, it's understanding how the female mind and body work and leading with integrity. This is the real foundation of fast, healthy connection, not performance, not pickup lines, just presence, safety, and trust. Do this, and you won't need to chase intimacy. It will come to you naturally, honestly, and yes, maybe even the same day. Let's talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough attention when it comes to attraction, especially in men looking to create deeper, more immediate connections with women, your presence and your polarity. These two things, how grounded you are in the moment and how stable your masculine energy is, are not just attractive, they're magnetic. Now, this might sound abstract at first. What does presence even mean? And what does masculine polarity have to do with real world attraction? Let's break it down. Presence is your ability to be fully in the moment, not distracted, not calculating, and not trying to impress. When you're truly present, you're listening not to respond, but to understand. You're making eye contact without trying to dominate. You're comfortable with pauses in conversation. You're not constantly scanning the room or looking at your phone. You're here with her and she feels it. And here's the important part. Most women can detect presence within seconds. It's not about what you say, it's about how you're showing up. A man who is truly present feels different to a woman's nervous system. He feels trustworthy. He feels safe. And perhaps most importantly, he feels powerful. Now let's bring in polarity. Polarity is the dynamic between masculine and feminine energy. It exists in all healthy attraction. Think of it like magnetic charge, positive and negative. Masculine energy is grounded, structured, directed. Feminine energy is flowing, expressive, intuitive. Neither is better or worse. They simply complement each other. And when the masculine and feminine meet with the right balance, the result is electricity, tension, chemistry. A lot of men today try to become what they think women want: agreeable, nice, overly accommodating. And while kindness and respect are absolutely essential, the issue arises when that behavior is coming from a place of insecurity. When a man sacrifices his center just to be liked, that's not attractive. Why? Because it lacks polarity, it lacks strength, it lacks the magnetic pull that the feminine instinctively desires. Masculine polarity at its core is about being deeply rooted in who you are. It's emotional self-control. It's the ability to stay calm in uncertainty. It's standing in your truth even when there's pressure to please. This doesn't mean being cold or arrogant. It means being solid. Imagine the masculine like a mountain, unmoving, strong, supportive. The feminine is like the weather changeable, emotional, wild. A mountain doesn't try to control the weather. It simply holds space for it. When a woman meets a man who's in his masculine polarity, calm, confident, not needy, she feels it in her body. Her feminine energy responds naturally. She softens, she opens, not because she's being manipulated, but because she senses that this is a man who can hold her not just physically, but emotionally. And here's where this connects to same-day intimacy. When a woman meets a man who is deeply present and fully in his masculine polarity, she can drop her guard much faster. Why? Because her nervous system tells her, this man is safe, this man is stable, I can relax. And relaxation is the gateway to arousal. It's that simple. When she doesn't have to second guess your intentions or manage your emotions, she can just be. That's when attraction builds fast. Think about this. Most men chase. They try to impress. They try to prove their worth. But a man who is truly grounded doesn't chase. He invites. His stillness is powerful. His energy is slow, deliberate, and confident. He's not rushing to escalate because he knows his worth doesn't depend on the outcome. And that's incredibly attractive. In fact, it's often the absence of pressure that creates desire. When a woman feels that you're not trying to get something from her, she can actually lean into the experience. She begins to trust that your presence is genuine, that you're there because you enjoy her company, not because you're playing a role or trying to manipulate a result. And here's the beauty of this approach. It works whether or not physical intimacy happens that day, because it's not about getting anything. It's about creating an authentic connection. But very often, when that connection is real and the polarity is strong, intimacy does happen. And yes, sometimes on the very first day, it's not about speed, it's about depth. Presence and polarity create a space where her feminine energy feels drawn almost irresistibly toward you. She doesn't have to think about it. It's not a checklist in her head. It's a feeling in her body. It's that feeling of safety, curiosity, desire, all woven together. And it all begins with how you show up. So if you're wondering how to make a woman feel more connected to you, how to create the kind of chemistry that leads to intimacy, don't focus on the lines, the strategies, or the performance. Focus on your state. Are you calm? Are you grounded? Are you genuinely enjoying her company without needing anything in return? That's the essence of masculine polarity, and that's what turns presence into attraction. Women don't want perfection. They want honesty. They want strength that doesn't need to dominate. They want a man who knows who he is and isn't shaken by emotion or uncertainty. You don't have to be the loudest guy in the room. You don't have to fake confidence. You just need to come back to your body. Slow your breath. Be still. Listen. Lead with calm energy. That's more powerful than anything you could say or do. Because at the end of the day, women are not drawn to men who try to be attractive. They're drawn to men who already are. Not through tricks or games, but through presence, polarity, and self-mastery. That's how chemistry forms. That's how intimacy unfolds. And yes, that's how it sometimes happens, even on the very first day.